Welcome everybody, all you amazing, engaging speakers people. I'm here with the awesome Janice Means, Marketing with JR. And Janice and I crossed paths in so many different places in so many different worlds. And she said something to me that kind of dropped my jaw. And I was like, no, I didn't know that. And the thing she said was, do you know that if you crack 100 people, and that was some advice that somebody got on their YouTube channel, if they exceed 100 people, something happens. So I asked Janice to come on and let me interview her today so we can put this on the Facebook page. And before we start, first off, Janice, thank you very much for taking the time.
You're welcome.
And secondly, I just want to emphasize that this is what, now, Janice at one point was a mentor in engaging speakers. She is no longer a mentor, but she's just an amazing resource. And so if you haven't had a cup of coffee with her, if you haven't gotten together and talk about what she does, because one of the things she really helps with is get people their online presence. When somebody searches for you, to make sure that your address is correct and you still got the right zip code and the phone number and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what she does. But this YouTube thing really had me fascinated. So if you don't mind, Janice, I'd like to jump right in and just I base up some questions because I want to try and be as thorough as possible and squeeze as much out of that awesome brain of yours before I let you get off the line. Okay. So my first question is, why does somebody want to have a YouTube channel? Why is it important?
There's multiple different reasons. And a simple reason is they have a lot of content to share that they tend to repeat frequently. So it's a resource to send people to so they don't have to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. They can say, you know what, I did a talk on that. You can look here and find that channel to do that. Another reason is they want to monetize what they're already talking about. They already share a ton of information and they want to monetize it. And some people, it's great to help your SEO on your main website as well.
Cool. Yeah, because they kind of feed back and forth to each other, right?
Yep, exactly.
Does it matter the title of, so I've got a couple of YouTube channels. Is the title of the YouTube channel that big of a deal?
It can be if it's not linked to anything else. There's a couple of different ways you want to name your channel. One is a name that's consistent with your brand and your website, so that when people run across the one, they know that it goes with the other and they know they belong to the other. If your brand is not well known, then it's nice to have a channel that describes what the content's going to be about. And the reason is the channel is the main SEO point. So if somebody's searching in YouTube for a topic, channels that have that title are going to come up before videos with that title.
Gotcha. Okay, that's really good to know. Is it important, or do I need a banner?
I recommend you have a banner that's consistent with your branding that goes along with your website and your Facebook page so that people recognize you. I know marketing just as well as most people, but when you're marketing, you want a consistent vision so that when people run across you, they know who you are. So yes, have a banner. Have that banner that looks like your brand, and you can change those banners, but make sure if your logo's in there, that you're consistent in your logo being in a banner.
Yeah, I don't know that I know as much as other people, but I study marketing pretty regularly. It's fascinating to me, but I agree with you. It's one of the things I think people don't realize the power of is your look being consistent, right? They can put a Nike swoosh in any color on anything, and you instantly know it's the Nike brand.
Right, exactly.
So another question I had is, what should I use for a profile picture?
So depending on what your brand looks like and feels like, if you're a well-known celebrity, you use a personal picture for your profile pic. If you're trying to get your brand known, then use your logo.
Okay.
So depending on what you're trying to do, you'll choose between those two things. I wouldn't put anything else cute, either your personal picture or your logo.
Okay. Yeah, and I've seen some wacky stuff in there, so that's a really good point. This is probably goes without saying, but it's really important that your YouTube channel is linked to your website, correct?
Yeah, most of the time you wanted to, because YouTube is looked at a domain authority, and links to your website from domain authorities increase the SEO for your main website. Now, I got asked the question the other night about, well, why wouldn't I link it? If your website's really bad and your better content's on YouTube, you might not turn on your website page until you get your website updated.
Okay.
Or in some cases, some people have websites that have nothing to do with the content they do on YouTube. You might not want to connect those either.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's that same brand, right? Just keeping it consistent across the brand. And it's funny, because I think people don't realize too how one thing is enough to bring the whole brand down.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It just one silly, it's like one bad review. You can have all these great reviews, but one bad review brings the entire average down. Let me see. Is there better descriptions or keywords to describe a channel when people are searching for it?
So when you're setting up your channel, there's a couple places where description have. Your channel itself has a description. You want to put keywords in that description, but they also have hidden from the regular world when you're setting up the channel. And that's why I say sometimes people need help with this. Another place to put keywords that YouTube used to build the search engine that it has. So you want to put the keywords in that special box that nobody else outside your channel can see. So in your description, you want sentences so it reads normal, but just keywords in general go into that special keyword area on the channel.
Great. Okay.
On a video, it's different.
So what's a good video title? Is there such a thing?
Good video titles, just like good speaking titles, good signature talk titles, should have keywords in them and be enticing to the audience. That's the second place where YouTube uses this SEO keyword search, is in the title. Then in your description, you want to describe it further. You can use hashtags in your description for the video, but you're limited to, it's actually unlimited, but YouTube penalizes you if you have more than 14. It ignores them all. If you have less than 14, it'll leave them there and it uses them to search. And it takes the first 3 that you put there and puts them above the YouTube video title when you're viewing that video. So it's a way you can organize some of your content. You could put a keyword that groups them together. Now, that's not the only way to group videos together, but it is a way to do that. Or so like you're the gifted leader, you use TGL on some of your videos. So you could put TGL into your description of your videos. I wouldn't put that one first because it's going to grab them all. But if somebody is looking on LinkedIn at your videos and they click on TGL and they grab the videos from YouTube, you're going to show all your videos.
Interesting. That's cool to know. Why can't I allow comments on my videos?
So most people, when they're uploading a video and they don't understand YouTube, they will click, oh yeah, my content is suitable for children. And they'll go, but I can't turn on comments. YouTube will not let videos that are uploaded for children to have comments on. If you want to allow comments, you have to say that it's not suitable for children, that it's adult oriented to be able to allow it. And then when you turn on comments, after you've changed the status of your video, you have the option of having moderated comments, or let all comments appear, or only let comments that have certain words or that kind of stuff in it. But a lot of people say, but there's nothing wrong. Why can't kids watch my YouTube? And YouTube says if it's made for children, there are no comments.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So this, when we talk about monetizing YouTube, and this might be what excuse me, the comment I overheard you say to somebody, why is this and help us understand if they're connected. Why is that 100 followers important? And does that have anything to do with monetizing the channel?
The 100 subscribers actually has to do with being able to create a vanity or custom URL. When you first create your YouTube channel, you get all these letters and numbers and stuff that nobody can remember. It's gobbledygook to us as the user. So once you have 100 subscribers, that's one of the criteria you have to pass to be able to change the name of your YouTube channel to something that's easy to remember for you to share. I can't remember who the person was that we were looking at, but we'll use you. So if you wanted to rename your channel to be youtube.com/thegifted_leader, you have to have 100 subscribers, but that's not the only criteria. You also have to have been a YouTube channel for over 30 days. You also have to have a good standing within YouTube, which off the top of my head, I don't remember what that is. But once those happened, there is a feature that goes into your settings in YouTube where you can go then give your YouTube channel a vanity URL, i.e. the gifted leader, so that it's easier to share, that you don't have to remember, oh my God, what are all those letters? Where's my link to share my YouTube channel? You could just go, hey, you want to go to my YouTube channel and you're speaking and you're out and somebody asks you about it and you're like, I don't know what my channel is. You can say it's youtube.com/thegifted_leader.
Oh, that's really cool. So how does that, and then how does that tie to being monetized?
So monetizing actually has a separate set of rules. And if you want YouTube to pay you for the advertising that they put on your channels, because I don't know if you've noticed, YouTube used to only put advertising on videos that were monetized. They now put them on everybody's channel. If you want to start getting paid for those ads that show up on your videos, you have to have a couple of different things. You actually have to have 1,000 subscribers. You have to have 4,000 hours of viewed content. So you can't just get the 1,000 subscribers and say, woohoo, I'm done. You have to have the 4,000 hours. If you're using music in any of your videos, you can't have content flagged that you're using copyrighted music. There are ways to get around that, but you can't have it. So it's those couple of things. And then you can turn on monetization to get paid from YouTube for their advertising. Now, that's not the only way you can get paid on YouTube. One of the things you could do, so like this little interview we're doing here, if you were doing a podcast all the time, and I know you interview other people on some of your other channels and stuff, you could actually have them be paying you to be on their show. If you have a big enough following and your audience is the right audience, people would pay to be on your show. So that's an option. You could have paid guests. Another thing you could do is have people that either people or products that sponsor the event as well. Now, if you're having sponsored or paid advertising, you do have to click a thing, so a warning that YouTube will put up a warning. Be aware, if you buy these products, these people are getting paid to advertise that.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's an honesty kind of thing.
Gotcha. So this is really a great conversation. So one of the things I have a lot of content out there.
Yes.
But I never until really just this conversation and maybe thoughts before from that 100 subscriber comment I heard you tell somebody else, is there a way for me to organize my channel or the content in such a way, or does it not matter?
Well, so when you upload the videos, they get organized in the order you upload them. But if you, for example, have, a couple times a month you interview people, but a couple of times a month you do leadership tips, you might want to put those in what they call playlists. The playlists are not necessarily what other people are doing, but within your channel, the order that you recommend they watch those videos in. So it's utilizing the concept of playlist. You could also help organize it with your hashtags.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's great to know because and it's funny because I'm familiar with playlists because I still play guitar and play in a band. And so I'll put the YouTube videos of songs in a playlist of like the set list in our band, right? So I can practice with them and go right down the set list just like I would. So that's exactly the same thing I could do with my content then.
Exactly.
Regardless of when I made it, I could line it up to fall in the order I want it to.
And if you do a video that goes in the middle, say you had 5 videos on some topic and you got a lot of questions on video 3, so you need to clarify a bunch of things before they get to video 4 in the future, you can insert a video in the middle in your playlist that was recorded much later.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So at this point, is there anything else you'd like to add or anything that I might have missed?
Well, there was one question, something comes up. So everybody asked me, well, what about your personal channel? Well, I only have one video on my channel and I stopped recording on it because I was doing trade show recordings. And with the pandemic, it was like, well, this doesn't make sense for me to spend all this time doing it. But I have a personal playlist where I have been a guest on other people's YouTube channels. So you can create a playlist on your own channel that points to places where you've shown up. So I can organize if somebody says, I want to see you speaking, or I want to see you on camera, or I want to see that, I can share that playlist and say, here's the 10 places I've been, but I only have to give them one link because they're all organized together.
Ho, ho, ho. There's a moneymaker. All right, I'll make a note of that. I'm recording this and I'm going to go back and watch it again. That's brilliant stuff. And it's really not that difficult. So is there anything else?
So this all started because I do online audits for people. So if people want to have a conversation about their channel and things they can do, I can either manage people's channels for them, or I can teach them how to do it on their own. And I can walk them through doing these steps on their own. So if somebody wants to reach out to do it, we can have a conversation, find out where you're at. And we can post, if it's okay with you, I do have now a link that says, here's how to do your own online audit. Walks them through the steps of going to a browser that's never been used and stuff, so they can see how they come up to everybody else and know how to fix things.
Yeah, so I'm
more than
I'm fine with that, and I'm gonna have my team do a little editing to this video, and we'll put your contact information. How can people contact you, Janice?
So my email is janice@marketing-with-jr.com, and people are like, why do you have all the dashes? And that's because somebody in Australia has marketing-with-jr.com. He doesn't use it, but he won't let me have it. And I tried having .solutions and .net and .whatever, and everybody wants to put marketing-with-jr.solutions.com, and it's like, nah. So dashes are better than .solutions.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks again. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I got even more out of this than I was expecting. And some of these are just some really easy things, right, that are going to make your channel that much more powerful. And I love your ideas about keeping it all branded across, the entire line, the website, the banner for the YouTube channel, the name of the channel, the videos. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
One last thing before I let you go, now that I'm thinking about it, what would if you have that answer, and I'm pretty sure you will, if somebody's thinking, well, I don't know that I have enough content, what would you say to somebody like that?
So there's a couple of things to think about if you're thinking about having a channel. Who's your audience? Do you have an audience? What would be your intention? And do you have a budget? And the budget could be time and money. Because if you're going to spend time putting the content out there, whether it's a couple of videos, if it's only a couple of videos, but it's powerful content that you're going to resend people to, then it's worth it, even if there's only 3 or 5 videos out there. If it's going to support your ideal audience,
Right. Yeah. And this goes back to one of my favorite topics that I won't talk about today, but you've heard me talk about all the time, and that's target market, right? Ideal audience, target market. Those are, some interchangeable words, but I think most people don't get clarity on that. And once you have that, whether it's your signature talk or your YouTube channel, it all becomes very powerful because it's aimed at exactly who you want to be selling to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Great. Janice. So thanks very much. I really, really appreciate it. This is just so much fun for me and so informative. So I'm going to put this up on the channel or the Facebook page for everybody. And I actually will probably pop this on one of my YouTube channels to give you some extra traction exposure out there. But I really appreciate your time. And again, if you need to get a hold of Janice, they can reach her at your email, and that's Janice, right? At marketing dash with dash jr.com.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Janice. This is a Friday. We're going to get this out probably the next week. I hope you guys all appreciated this and enjoyed it. Janice, thank you very much for your time. I'd also like to reiterate one last time, this is how amazing people are that are in the Engaging Speakers chapter in Schaumburg, as well as the other chapters. So if you haven't made an effort, and here's something that you can do to grow your business this coming year, get people on your calendar that you don't know well in your chapter and have a cup of coffee with them, because you'll be amazed, like Janice, you'll be amazed at the wealth of information they've got and that they're happy to share with you. So thanks again, Janice. You're a rock star. I love you, and have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks.